Chairwoman Berner, and distinguished members of the committee. My name is Ryan Johnston, Senior Policy Counsel for Federal Programs with Next Century Cities. Thank you for inviting NCC to be a thought partner on this important issue. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization born of the need to elevate community-level perspectives into broadband policymaking at every level of government. Our organization is made up of over 200 members across 40 states, including 32 here in California. Over the last 4 years, Californians have learned the critical role that affordable high-speed internet plays in completing tasks, accessing the essential services that we often take for granted. Education, healthcare, public safety, economic development, and staying connected to friends and family are now directly related to whether a resident has an affordable, reliable broadband connection and the skills to utilize it. In California, approximately 10% of the population does not have reliable broadband access. That means that over 2 million individuals and households cannot search for jobs, utilize telehealth, work, learn, or get emergency information from home. The Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program will provide an unprecedented funding opportunity to California and its communities to help close their digital divides. California's share of the $42 billion in federal funding will inject almost $1 billion into infrastructure deployment and digital equity inclusion programs statewide. For the BEAD program to reach its full potential, the Assembly and the CPUC must work in close collaboration with municipalities across the state. Historically, municipalities have had to address deployment, adoption, and inclusion efforts alone, which makes them key partners now. For example, the city of Long Beach, California, was working close to close its digital divide long before the pandemic struck. In 2017, with the support of the Long Beach Community Foundation, the Long Beach Media Collaborative was formed to help understand the city's digital divide. Their research found that the city's disparities in broadband internet access correlated with race. Almost 1 in 5 Latin American, Hispanic, Black, or African American residents did not have a broadband connection at home. To combat this, the city designed and implemented a citywide fiber optic network that connected city facilities, delivered a fiber backbone within 2 miles of any location in the city, increasing broadband for both public and private use. The city also launched a digital inclusion initiative that held workshops and pop-ups to better understand residents' lived experiences so that they may figure out what was contributing to the city's digital divide. 5 years later, almost 90% of the city has a broadband subscription and 96% of households have a computer. However, the BEAD program is not just for the deployment of network infrastructure. It holds equity and adoption amongst its central tenets. In determining how state and digital equity plans should be constructed or how BEAD applications could weave in equity considerations, both the Assembly and the CPUC should look inwards to the California communities that are leading the charge on these issues. Chula Vista is a national leader in civic innovation. In June of 2020, the city released its Digital Equity and Inclusion Plan. Chula Vista's plan took a holistic approach to digital equity, not only looking at who was impacted by the digital divide, but exploring the systemic issues that prolonged disconnectedness. The city learned that the common drivers of its digital divide were affordability, access to devices, and the need for digital literacy skills. The report recommended numerous ways in which data could be continued to be collected, city resources could be leveraged to lead outreach and digital literacy education efforts, and how to connect, equip, and train the community. In addition to these recommendations, the report also suggested potential metrics the city could use to gauge success, including percentage of connected adults, the cost of internet access, device ownership percentages, and the number of monthly digital literacy courses provided among the city, amongst many others. Local leaders didn't just stop there. Just last month, the city began hosting roundtable discussions to inform a new justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion program. With dedicated partners like Chula Vista, the state and CPUC can learn what types of data collections have worked and how to promote participation in many of the digital equity initiatives the BEAD program is designed to help create. Finally, communities are natural problem solvers. The city of Gonzales realized that unemployment insurance applications, educational opportunities, and other municipal benefits were migrating online, and that many of the city's 10,000 residents would be unable to access them. As a result, at the beginning of the pandemic, the city deployed over 2,000 Wi-Fi hotspots to keep its residents connected to critical services. Similarly, in San Rafael, when 39% of Canal neighborhood residents didn't have access to broadband at home and 57% of residents didn't own a connected device, local leaders recognized broadband access as a bridge to government services and other benefits such as education. They understood that reliable and affordable service would enable residents to access emergency information during power outages, especially when television or radios weren't working or cell towers were down. In conclusion, local perspectives make state policy more effective. Communities continually find ways to fill in broadband gaps, particularly in areas with low economic returns. State officials should take the BEAD's requirements to work with communities seriously. Doing so would help this body and the CPUC develop a state grant program that generates new or builds onto existing broadband infrastructure. I thank you all for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you.